Hello guys, my name is Gabriel, I'm Brazilian, I'm 21 years old and I speak Portuguese, I'm fluent in English, I speak a bit of Spanish, of Dutch, of German sort of, and French. I have an intermediate level in French, and today I'm gonna talk about language learning. So, a bit of my experience on language learning. When I was 17 years old, when I was in the last grade of high school, I was studying for the Brazilian national exam called ENEM to get into university, and I decided to put efforts on learning a language because for the national Brazilian exam we need to choose either Spanish or English as a foreign language, and I ended up choosing English because I'm more familiar with English, and I find Spanish a bit too similar with Portuguese, so I'm pretty sure I would make mistakes. I would mix the language. So to study English, I started to listen to podcasts every night before sleeping, and I was practicing my pronounce as well. It was a series of podcasts about random situations, about everyday situations, and we would have to practice a dialogue. We have to repeat the dialogue. It's a repetition method to practice the pronounce. And after like 100 podcasts, I noticed that I was much better at speaking English. And let me see. I also started to listen to other podcasts, but it's podcasts by people who speak this language. They are native in this language. Like first it was an American podcast, and afterwards a British podcast, and they talk about their routines, their lives, their family, their pets, food, lots of things, and we get used to the way they speak. So we start to understand much better the language they spoke, English. But I would say that the first thing that you have to put efforts on is grammar. You always have to choose grammar as the first thing that you're learning. So get a notebook, get some papers, and take some notes on grammar. Like, you have to learn the grammar, you have to understand the grammar, the structure of the language. That's the basis of the language. So afterwards, once you have the basis of the language, the grammar, you can start to focus on other things like listening, like speaking. So yeah, experiment about that. And after English, I decided to study a bit of German because, like, in the first year of my university, there were some language courses offered by the university, like German, French, etc. And I chose German because I found German quite a challenging one, but I didn't ended up liking it, enjoyed it a lot. But I just attended one semester. But I found it an interesting experience. Like, if you speak English, it should be much easier for you to speak German because there's a lot of vocabulary in common. Even though the English has a lot of Latin vocabulary. Anyway, that's it. And I didn't keep studying German because it was going to be the next semesters after the pandemic. It was going to be in person, and it would be a bit complicated for me because it would be on the weekends, and I would already be quite tired during the week. So no, I would have been willing to go there to university in person just to study a language like a few hours every Saturday. So after that, I decided to study a bit of French. I attended an online French course, and yes, I studied some grammar. French is quite a difficult one. Even though French is a Latin language, it's a bit more difficult because French, the phonetic is a crazy thing. It's a really mad thing because things are barely pronounced. You read something and okay, that's it, and you're not going to pronounce half of it. So it's crazy. Je peux parler un peu de français, mais je suis pas courant. J'espère pouvoir parler le français couramment quelques jours, un jour, mais je sais pas, c'est assez compliqué pour moi. So yeah, I can speak a bit of French and I can speak Portuguese. Obviamente eu posso falar português porque eu sou brasileiro. Então. And je suis en train d'apprendre le néerlandais. I mean, I'm learning now Dutch because I find it interesting. It's sort of a mixture between German and English, but it's a bit easier than German because it doesn't have genders and lots of other complicated things. I also know some Spanish because I studied Spanish in school, but Spanish is difficult because it's so similar to Portuguese. I often accept both languages, so you end up speaking like Portuñol, not really speak Spanish. You're speaking Spanish, but with a Portuguese accent, or the opposite. I hope it makes sense. So that's it. If you have any questions on language learning, if you'd like to ask me questions like on how I learned language, how I sort of became polyglot, I didn't really. I can speak some foreign language. Si vous voulez me demander des questions, vous pouvez le faire dans le commentaire. Mon français c'est terrible. So that's it, guys. Bye.